An objectively better game. I mean, who would know that games would get better than this one? This is purely just the pinnacle of shooters. You can't get better than this. What?
Hey everyone, Jarek the Gaming Dragon here. If you're already subscribed and you haven't clicked that bell, be sure to do that, otherwise YouTube won't tell you that I posted anything. If you haven't subscribed, well, watch this video and maybe consider subscribing if you like it. Okay, so Red Ocean is probably the most obscure game I've covered on this channel, aside from maybe the Doom 3 Area 51 mod, but that's a mod so that doesn't really count. Seriously, how many of you actually know what this game is? Its Wikipedia page is incredibly small, the PC Gaming Wiki page is incredibly small. Both the developer and publisher don't even have their own Wikipedia pages. This game is made by a German developer, and it is, well, it's certainly a budget game. This game is so obscure that I can't seem to find it anywhere legally on the internet. It was never sold digitally, and from what I've seen looking around, there's no physical copies to buy used. It's also completely abandonware. Thankfully, there is an amazing website called myabandonware.com, which is exactly what you think it would be. It's abandonware that you can download. In theory, this website should be completely safe from being taken down, as it's all abandonware. No one is there to file lawsuits if the company doesn't exist or they don't have rights to that IP. But I can see it going down at some point because companies tend to be assholes and try to take down anything even if there's not really a valid reason to. Don't get me wrong, they need to protect their IPs and whatnot, but sometimes they go after things that just don't make any sense. Especially you, Nintendo. Getting this game to run is pretty easy though. It is a PC only game. This never came out on consoles. The download gives you a .bin file, you mount this .bin file in something like Power ISO, it works like an ISO file, you install the game, and then you're ready to play. You don't need any no DVD cracks or anything like that, just it installs and you play the game. However, since this is such an obscure game, there's not really any information on minor fixes. For example, if you go to PC Gaming Wiki, the only thing it can tell you is how to make the game run in 1920 by 1080, or any widescreen resolution you need. And you could have figured that out on your own. The INI file is incredibly small in this game, it literally is just the graphics options in-game. And at one point it says resolution, and then has the resolution there, so it's not like it's rocket science, you could have figured this out without PC Gaming Wiki. But there's also nothing else in this INI file, so if you want to make any other adjustments, you just can't. And here it comes, I'm gonna change my name to Jarek the FOV Dragon. This FOV fucking sucks! My goodness, the FOV in this game is around 55 to 60. It's almost as bad as the original Area 51. I know a lot of you get impatient when I start talking about the FOV, but the FOV in this game is so narrow that it was giving me a headache.
Holy shit, this actually is hurting my head.
I'm not the type to get motion sickness from games, so if it's giving me a headache, I can't imagine what it would do to people that do get motion sick from games. But that's not all, there's a lot of other minor problems in this game that you can't fix. The mouse aim entirely is one of them. This game feels like it has slight mouse acceleration, which is problematic enough, but even worse, it feels like it caps your mouse's movement speed. This obviously is problematic because when you're aiming with the mouse you want to snap from target to target, but if you can't move it that quickly, then it feels like you're dragging your mouse across the screen and it totally throws your aim off. It feels like the mouse's movements are attached to your character's model actually turning, and if your character can't turn fast enough, you can't move the mouse faster. I can maybe understand why you do that in a multiplayer game. I wouldn't want you to, but I can at least kind of understand it, but in a single player game, it just doesn't make any sense. And like I said, you can't fix any of this. It's such an obscure game that no one has any answers on the internet. I have a feeling the FOV is hidden away in this DLL file somewhere, but I have to open it with a hex editor, and without knowing what I need to change, it's just sort of a lost cause. I don't know what to do here. As for the graphics, this game came out in 2007, and it looks like ass. Even for 2007, it looks bad. Here's some other games that came out in 2007. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, The Orange Box, Halo 3, The Darkness, Medal of Honor Airborne. This game looks terrible compared to all of these. It at least mostly ran like it was supposed to. I had 2 crashes the entire time I was playing it, so not like it's crash proof, but it didn't crash every 5 seconds, and it didn't really stutter or lag, so at least you can play it. You know what engine this game runs on? The Gamebryo engine. You know what else runs on that engine? Fallout 3 and New Vegas. Yeah, this is not a good engine. Okay, I should rephrase, it's not a bad engine, it's just horribly outdated, even at that time. I mean, this engine's first release date was in 1999. But graphics aren't everything, and if you could ignore getting a headache from the terrible FOV, then maybe this game's still good. You play as Jack Hard. Yes, his name is Jack Hard, who hires a fellow diver to explore an old Second World War submarine. He soon finds that there is an entrance to an underground complex nearby. An operative contacts him over the radio telling him that his fellow diver is actually a member of the CIA. Jack soon finds him dead and must take up the fight. The plot takes place in an abandoned underwater secret Soviet base that has been taken over by terrorists. Or something. I have no idea. I literally just read what was on the Wikipedia page. This game has not one word of dialogue in it. As you're playing it, there is no story. Absolutely none. I have no idea how the plot got on Wikipedia, because I didn't see any of this. I don't know what my name is. I don't know who I'm shooting. What does this have to do with anything? Where am I? What's happening? I mean this in the most literal sense. There's not one word of dialogue in this game. There's not even any, text story to read. So you will be completely confused as to what's going on. You want to know how the game starts? This is how the game starts. That's it. There's no cutscene, there's no setup, you're just thrown into the game, and the game ends equally as fast with no cutscene. Things blow up, suddenly you're thrown to the main menu.
Oh my god, that was a really good throw. Stuck. He died. Okay, I should have just ignored him. Oh, alright, I guess I won. What a game.
I truly do mean in the most literal sense, there is no story in this game. I have no idea where Wikipedia got the plot. At least this is how I played the game. But going back online and looking around, there actually was cutscenes, and there was voice acting. But for some reason the version on myabandonware.com doesn't have any. I'm not sure why this is the case, but going back and looking at these cutscenes and dialogue, I really didn't miss anything. The plot on Wikipedia is truly the whole plot. There's not much to it. Even with context, you still don't know who these terrorists are or why you need to get rid of them. You just kind of do. So how's the gameplay? Can that hold the game up? I mean, the game has so far been a train wreck. Kind of. Honestly, it's not that bad, but it's really not that great either. It's going for an interesting atmosphere in an underwater complex, and this can work if BioShock didn't come out the same year. Okay, seriously, I see groundwork for this atmosphere, but it's really shallow. There's a lot more they could have done and just flushed it out. The lighting is there, some of the textures are there for it. They're working on it, but it's really not there. The level design itself is incredibly linear, and, that's fine. Some of my favorite games are linear first-person shooters, like, say, Half-Life and Doom 3. If anything, I would prefer a simple game to be linear than try to do too much. You have 8 weapons, a knife, and a grenade, and you find more weapons as you go further into the game. It really is the Half-Life structure, and I'm completely okay with this. The weapons themselves are modeled fine and have the best reloading animations of all time. None. This is fine for a game like Time Splitters 2 because it was old, but this was 2007, and that's kind of inexcusable. It's like they just didn't want to hire an animator or something. So that kind of sucks, but the guns themselves are actually not that bad. They're loud, they're punchy, they kill enemies relatively quickly, and they're pretty fun to use, honestly. They are mostly generic guns like a Glock, a Desert Eagle, an MP5, a pump-action shotgun, an AK-47, but there are 2 high-tech weapons, a plasma gun and a laser gun that really reminds me of one of the guns in Prey. The original Prey, not the reboot. The one that has fucking nothing to do with Prey. Why does this exist? Okay, I'm sorry. I know the new Prey isn't a bad game, but it's not even the same genre as the original Prey, and I just want a Prey sequel. I don't want this. What the fuck is this? I never quite cared for the System Shock style of games. That's why I preferred BioShock, and Prey just isn't Prey. Anyway, back on topic. Despite the fact that these guns don't have any reloading animations, they do have diverse purposes, they're unique, and they're pretty fun to use, honestly. The enemies themselves are brain-dead idiots. They will either run straight at you, shooting at you, or stand in place, shooting at you. And that's all you got. You don't have any other different types of enemies, you just shoot at these enemies. You occasionally have a boss that has a big laser that shoots you, and you have to shoot the same blue things to kill it, but that's it. Shooting these enemies is actually pretty fun though, because this game has absurd over-the-top ragdoll. Guns are completely disproportionate to how much damage they should really do. A Desert Eagle is a fucking cannon and it's going to launch people. And you know what? Damn, do I miss this about games. I miss the time during mid-2000s where everyone was experimenting with physics, so whenever you shot someone, they just did crazy ragdolls. Nowadays, we have a million different smooth animations to play out that just honestly don't feel as natural to me, and they're less fun. I mean, for example, play Halo 2, get a headshot on a Spartan, watch him do a backflip. That's so fun to me. But then you have the other side, like say in the original Fear, when you shoot a replica soldier that doesn't know you're there and it just crumples to the floor. That's equally as satisfying. If your physics engine is good, having the body just be dead weight is really satisfying for some reason. But if your physics engine isn't good, having the body ragdoll across the room is equally as fun. This game is the later, and it seems intentional. One of the plasma weapons you get literally drags bodies with each shot, and that's just amazing. I mean, look at this. How is that not amusing? Unfortunately, that seems to be all this game is holding itself up on. It's a pretty horrible game, but the gunplay is okay and can be moderately fun. The difficulty is at least about what it should be. It's not too hard or too easy, so it's a decent time waster for the short 2 to 3 hour campaign. Yeah, you'll beat this game in about 2 to 3 hours. It's a very short game, but honestly, that's probably for the best. This game would overstay its welcome and quickly start turning into Chaser if it was any longer. So I don't know. This is a bad game that I didn't mind playing for the short time that I had to play it. If you want to play it yourself, you can go find it on myabandonware.com. No, I am not sponsored, but if they're watching, maybe consider sponsoring me. I do a lot of obscure games to be a perfect fit. Wink wink. That sated my curiosity about this game, and that should sum up this video. Thanks to all of you that watched me on Twitch. It was really fun hanging out. If you want to hang out with me in the future, my Twitch is twitch.tv/Jarek4GamingDragon. Twitch subs and patrons get to see my videos one day ahead of time. You can check out my Patreon at patreon.com/Jarek4 or click on the bottom right. If you want to check out my other videos, click them on the screen here, and I will see you next time.